welcome. It's a pleasure to see you all again. And our sessions have finally come to an end with this final session on the contestants for innovative lesson plannings, presenting their lesson plans, all the shortlisted, excellent dynamic educators coming up on this platform for all the SARC educators all together. Really happy to host you all. I'm Shweta Singh and talking to you on behalf of Dr. Kalam International Foundation as well as International Association for Quality Education. India and Sri Lanka get together for a great collaboration, hosting the International Conference on Quality Education in Delhi. And a part of the pre-conference activities, we are here with you yet again with the final session on innovative lesson planning. So I have a great jury back with me again, and welcoming Dr. Rashmi Tyagi and Ms. Prerna Chauhan. So welcome both judges. Happy to see you yet again. Thank you so much for being here. Now, let me, without wasting any time, let me bring on the first contestant. And I welcome Dr. Pratibha Singh from Karnataka. So that's our first contestant here, and we will talk about biology. Dr. Pratibha Singh, the stage is all yours.
Good evening, Team DKIF and respected jury members, for selecting my innovative lesson plan to be presented over here at this international platform. And I sincerely extend my gratitude to all jury members and other members. A warm welcome to all delegates and other contestants also. So I am here to present my innovative lesson plan for today. My screen is visible, ma'am?
Not yet, ma'am. Yes, it is coming up now. Yes.
By learning, you will teach. There is a Latin proverb, by learning, you will teach, and by teaching, you will learn. According to me, teaching is a two-way communication. Learners also learn something, and same way, teachers or educators also learn simultaneously. I'm Dr. Pratibha Singh from NCS Karwar, going to present my lesson plan, which is from class 10th, and topic for today is our environment. Number of sessions provided were 3 sessions only. I will try to cover this topic within these 3 sessions. 3 sessions means inside the school. Yes. If we are going to make any lesson plan, so firstly, basic core of making any lesson plan is just to have an idea about Bloom's taxonomy, ma'am. So according to Bloom's taxonomy, I have decided these objectives for my lesson plans. After doing this, after completion of this concept, learners will be able to understand definition and types of ecosystems, and it covers first verb of Bloom's taxonomy, which is remember. Means basic idea they will be getting about ecosystems. Second objective I have decided is biotic and abiotic components of ecosystem, and it will include second Bloom's taxonomical word, which is understand. Third objective I have decided is identifying the organism living in an ecosystem. It will cover apply, third Bloom's taxonomical word. Then next objective is interaction between different biotic components, which will cover analyze as well as evaluate both terms, both verbs of Bloom's taxonomy. Last 2 objectives, functioning of an ecosystem, covering evaluate verb of Bloom's taxonomy. And next is need and means to preserve an ecosystem, which includes create Bloom's taxonomy. According to these objectives, I have tried to include all Bloom's taxonomical verbs in my topic, as I would like to tell you, jury members and other delegates also, that this remembers and understand. These are the 2 words which are considered as parts of LORDS, low order thinking skills. Basic concept, basic learning, basic differentiation, basic identification type of things. And then moving towards high order thinking skills, I will teach or I will clarify the concept, including this evaluate and create Bloom's taxonomical verbs. Skill set, as we all know that nowadays CBE is in. So to impart competency-based education, I have decided this skill set Skill set means what competencies or what skills will be obtained by my learners after clarifying this concept. 21st century skills. 21st century skills are those skills which provide an efficiency to a learner or to an individual so that he or she can impart in the progress, in the development of his or her society and nations in today's scenario. And teachers, if we try to Google about these 21st century skills, life skills, competency-based skills, we all get confused because so much is given on the Google. So according to CBSE handbook, I have decided these 21st century skills, they are further divided into 3 categories. Firstly, 21st century skills include learning skills, then literacy skills, and then life skills. Or you can say 21st century skills is equal to L plus L plus L. Now, within learning skills, I have covered critical thinking, creativity, and innovation, communication, and collaboration. They are considered as learning skills, 4 C's. Then IMT. IMT means the second type of 21st century skills that includes IMT, information literacy, media literacy, and technological literacy. Here I have covered ICT, information computational technology. Within life skills, these life skills will be imparted to my learners after covering this concept: decision making, managing emotions, interpersonal relationships, and social awareness also. As I have given this diagram, 21st century skills, they are categorized into 3 skills. Just for reference, I am sharing this picture here. Now, coming to what sustainable development goals I am going to touch, I am going to cover while teaching this topic. I will cover first sustainable development goal number 13, which is related to climate action. As I have told, my topic is, chapter's name is Our Environment. So obviously climate actions, SDG 13 will be covered. Then next SDG covered will be life below water, as we are studying about aquatic type of ecosystems, marine ecosystems, pond water ecosystems, freshwater water ecosystem. So what is the life forms present under the water? That will cover my SDG number 14. And in terms of while studying about terrestrial ecosystems, next SDG number 15, life on land, will be covered while teaching learning of this concept. These are the 3 charts where I have shown these 3 different sustainable development goals, which I am going to cover in this topic. Now, while making a lesson plan, my next task is to decide, depending on what type of peers, what type of learners I will find in my class. So different type of intelligence are there, like musical, few learn from music, few are kinesthetic, few learn by learning by doing or hands-on activities, few are interpersonal, few learn by discussion type of things. Depending upon this topic, depending upon number of sessions, and depending upon what type of learners are there in my class, I have chosen these 3 type of intelligences, or we can say 3 type of learners amongst all the students. Nature smart means they are more enthusiastic in learning while they are outside the classroom. Environmentalists, we can say them environmentalists. Then body smart, of course, DIY activities and hands-on activities I will assign to my students. So because few students are of this type, kinesthetics type of students are there. And last category of my learners in a school belongs to picture smart, or I can say visual learners. I will show them visual modules, posters, charts, and even role play type of activities will also be considered if body smart type of learners are there in my classroom. So these 3 type of learners are there in my class. Now, while starting any topic, teacher, I must have one idea that what basic knowledge my learners are already having from their previous classes. So I assume that learners are having brief idea about the simple concept of environment and ecosystem. So without telling them that what topic I'm going to start for the next, I would ask them to move outside the classroom. As my learners are very happy if I ask them to come outside the classroom and if we are roaming in garden or in playground. So firstly, I would like to take my students to playground or an aquarium if available in my school, and I will be also visiting with those students. Same time, I will be discussing about this is environment, this is tree. Acha, you are aware about ecosystem. So are you aware about, is there any difference between ecosystem and environment? What is aquarium? That is man-made type of thing, or that is natural type of thing. If this is basketball ground, so that is man-made or आपका natural type of area. So this will be considered, this has to be considered as my introductory activity while opening of my main concept. Now, what teaching aids or teaching tools I am going to use for my lesson plan? Obviously, NCERT textbook, as I have shown in picture also. Then charts are available in lab. Smart modules I will show my students. And of course, one good refresher, I also need to reinforce them or to enrich my students apart from this NCERT concept. Apart from this teaching aids, next thing which I would like to provide to my students in starting only, mind map. What is mind map actually? There are two types of maps in teaching. One is mind map and one is concept map. As per my teaching strategy, in starting of any chapter, in starting of any topic, if topic is quite lengthy or depending upon topic and chapter, in first class, in first lecture, I provide this mind map to students. It will provide the basic idea or basic skeleton to my students. Apart from this benefit of mind map, that under what topics we are going to cover this topic, there is one extra benefit of providing this mind map. If some students are absent, or if one student is absent and next day is Sunday or any holiday, then he or she will get an idea that what topic must have been covered during that session when he or she was absent, just by looking into this mind map. So there are two benefits of mind map. And yes, as this SQAF is also in existence nowadays, so SQAF and CB is also focusing on these concepts of providing mind map and concept map. So firstly, in starting of this session, I will provide this mind map about the ecosystems to my learners. Now, this is the flow. We can write it as flow of chapter as per DKIF guidelines. We can write it as content according to different schools system. And ideally, this is learning ladder assessment. Here, in tabular form, I used to write this learning ladder assessment. Here, session 1, session 2, session 3. While covering any topic, actually, there are 3 parts of teaching any topic. First is known as opening or introduction of that topic. The topic activity covered will be just basic idea about ecosystem, food chain, its components, etc. Second part is known as engage. Engagement means what activities to be done by teacher for engaging. But let me clarify that my teaching strategy will be of constructivist type. Constructivist, there are 2 types of teaching strategies, constructivist and non-constructivist. Non-constructivist means teacher-centric learning teaching strategy, while constructivist means student-centric or pupil-centric. In covering whole of this topic, my teaching strategy will be of constructivist type, means students' active participation has to be there. In first session, I will use the 2 teaching strategies, heuristic and flip learning. I will start with heuristic. I will give idea, I will explain, I will discuss with the students, and I'll ask students to sort out some problem, to draw some diagram, to complete some figure given. That will be known as heuristic teaching strategy. And at the last of this first session, I would like to share this one link related to terrestrial and aquatic ecosystem to my students, so that students will watch that video at home, and if any doubts, we will discuss that in next class. This will be my second teaching strategy to teach that topic, that is known as flipped learning. Here you then coming to engage. Second part is known as engage. In engagement, in second session, I would take my students to an ecosystem in school, followed by trophic structure. It's not type of repetitive type of structure. Firstly was the introductory type of activity. Here students in groups will be visiting to different ecosystems. Like one will be going to aquarium, one will be going to any well, if any well is there in school, anyone will be going to any freshwater body, anyone will be going to library. Different type of ecosystems will be visited by the students, and after coming to class, they will be asked to make trophic structure. As I've already given them idea about the biotic and non-biotic components of the ecosystem. So they are supposed to make trophic structure. in their notebooks or on boards also. I can call students one by one as time will permit. Here I am using third teaching strategy, that is known as experiential learning. Third session will include, again, will be start with engage. I will discuss about the functions of ecosystem. Structure is clear, different components of clear by using heuristic method, by using flipped learning, by experiential learning. In third and last session of this lesson plan, I will discuss about the functions of ecosystem, and here I am following the inquiry based learning and crossover learning type of teaching strategy. In the last of this concept, in the end of this concept, of course, I'm coming to last part of any teaching learning concept, that is known as plenary. Plenary, in some cases, that is also referred as reflection. Plenary means I will ask simple questions, general type of questions from my students, and their answers will provide me reflection that what they have learned and how much they have achieved so far. Now I would like to discuss this third column of my learning ladder, where same time I'm giving assignment. Here we can see in first session, I'm just asking them to make a marine food chain. I would have asked about the what is food chain, what is food web, but as I've told that while making or while designing of any lesson plan, this Bloom's taxonomy has to be there in your mind. So in first session, I have covered only two lots, low order thinking skills type of work, which are remember and understand. Here, remember and understand. And in both cases, I have not asked what is the definition of food chain. I have asked them to draw the food chain, to draw the food web. So it means that same time, simultaneously, I am also including art integrated learning in these Bloom's taxonomical verbs. In second session, I have given one homework, participation in community level beach cleanship program. Here I am covering third Bloom's taxonomy, which is apply. Apply means where whatever we have learned in classroom, students need to apply that knowledge in real life applications. In third column, write any 5 interesting facts. Here they have to analyze, they have to compare, or they have to differentiate. But they have to dissect in the technical term that what is marine ecosystem and what is freshwater ecosystem. So this will be my learning ladder assessment while completing this topic. Pedagogy used, again, I'm mentioning experiential learning, art integrated learning, gamification. I will also show how you're going to use gamification and flip learning. Innovative pedagogy use, it is not necessary to be part of all lesson plans, but if somewhere teacher finds some new idea to implement in classroom, then he or she can mention, as I have mentioned here, learners will be asked to make a pilot ecosystem. Pilot means low scale ecosystem will be made by my students either in a lunch box or in their pencil box or inside their school bag. They need to make an artificial ecosystem. Only I will be there to provide them idea. So that innovative pedagogy I'm going to use in my lesson plan. Types of resources, both type of resources, audiovisual resources, I'm going to use. Yes, if some students with special need is there in my class, and as CBSE is giving emphasis on inclusive type of education, so depending upon this topic, I've chosen these two activities. Correct image name, if one student or slow learner type student is there in my school, so correct image, I will give few chats with images like आपका aquatic ecosystem, like आपका pond ecosystem, like आपका artificial environment, like your natural environment, and names also there. Then students will be supposed to match those names with correct image. Next, for bird fishing game, here teacher needs to make some flashcards and students will identify like he or she is doing fishing. Yes, one important thing I would like to tell, this Nearpod Collaborate, and that I have used actually in one of my previous schools. That's why I'm going to show here. This is Nearpod Collaborate board. What happens, it is possible if one slow learner or one student who is not willing to write anything on the notebook or is not sincere in classroom, then online we can play this game. I would like to show you how does it work. This is collaborate board. All participants can participate in this, and this is very beneficial. If any slow learner is there in your class, teacher will write the topic as I have written here, citation, and student, what things will be coming to students' mind, students are supposed to write here, and teacher can assess same time. And best thing is that these are online activities. After school hours, I would like to implement this type of game. And already I'm using these type of things in my teaching learning process. This is known as collaborate board. Now I'm coming to my next yes, mode of learning. Both mode of learning will be there, as experiential learning is also taking place, synchronous and asynchronous. Synchronous means I will be there for students, I will be accompanying the students. But yes, like I have said, beach cleaning program or any community level program to observe the ecosystems, to visit an ecosystem. So this can include asynchronous type of learning also. After completion of this topic, beyond the classroom, also known as real life application or for reinforcement purpose, or in some schools you will find cross curricular links. Firstly, in starting, I have provided mind map. Now I will ask my student to convert that mind map into concept map. Mind map is only the basic sketch that what headings are there in that concept, in that topic. But concept map need to be made by students. Concept map is detailed summary of that chapter, and it can be considered as an assessment tool also. And yes, I will ask my students to mention in their index that whatever SDG, especially SDGs, we have covered while teaching learning of this concept. Next, beyond the classroom, I can give this different type of questions. Identify the biotic abiotic components in your neighborhoods. Means beyond the classroom, reinforcement has to be there definitely. If there is no water, can and in spite of fact that 70% land is covered by oceans, we face scarcity of water. Here we are talking about climate action. So we can see that even in these three topics, these three objectives, which I am providing as real life applications, these SDGs are still in my mind. Next, assessment. Both type of assessment is required. Formative assessment means along with that teaching learning process of that concept. In formative assessment, if offline formative assessment I need to take, then of course quiz I would like to prefer. And if online mode is there, if Sunday is there or school is off, then of course online quizzes I'm going to use. Even in assessment, this one another activity which can be part of gamification. I'm going to show this wheel of names. That is very good activity, fun way activity, which is liked by all the students. Here we can see this is the name of wheels, and these names are the names of my all 10th class students. I will start my wheel, and students whose name will be appear here, he or she will be answering the question which will be asked by my students. Here, as this name is Jennifer, so I would ask the particular question from that student, and he or she is going to be answered. So this is also gamification, which we can include in science. Now coming to my main slide. Yes, so assessment, all type of formative assessment, quizzes, and this wheel of names. I'm going to use these type of activities for formative assessment. In case of summative assessment, worksheet will be provided, and after that completion of worksheet, pen paper test I'm going to take in class. I have shared this worksheet also in here in PDF form. Yes, in case of summative assessment, which is always done at the end of the session, where marks has to be given to students, I would include all type of questions, lots low order thinking skills, just by remembering, just by understanding, just by identifying, and HOTS, high order thinking skills as well. I have given 2 examples of HOTS here. Here we can see, as topic is, I have chosen this simple type of topic which can be understood by all type of educators present over here. Given below the food chain, and students need to identify, students need to complete the table while identifying the organisms which are given in this food chain. So his cognitive domain, his identified domain, all type of domains will come into action while attempting this HOTS question. Here, the second horse I have mentioned here in example. Here we can see that even topic, all the
I would
chapter.
request everybody to mute. There is disturbance happening. Please mute everybody. Thank
Here
you.
we can see only 2 hordes I have assigned to my students. The students will be very happy. Only 2 questions are given by my teacher in pen paper test. But here, whole concept of ecosystem, including food chain, including producer, herbivore, secondary consumer, I can assume, I can assess my students whether these terms are clear to my students or not after completion of this topic. And here, others educators can also see ecosystem definition. They will be writing ecosystem type, terrestrial, and then they need to complete. Here we can see definition of ecosystem, types of ecosystems, components of ecosystem, and then sub-components of ecosystems. All components, I can assess my students that whether whole topic is properly understood by them or not, just by giving these 2 diagram-based questions. So this type of assessment I'm going to plan in my class. Yes. Now, as this is innovative lesson plan, so I need to provide some research products also. And dear educators, research projects can be of different type. And from this topic here, I have mentioned I have given idea of all types of projects, like making a poster of an ocean ecosystem. Student can make on thermocol, student can make a placard, student can make a chart showing the different zones of ocean ecosystem. This will be considered as reading and writing projects, of course, including low order thinking skills. We can decide the students in our class according to their potential. So accordingly, I'm going to assign these projects to my students. Again, then what is the biodiversity of oceans? That will be considered as reading and writing projects. Coming to next higher level of Bloom's taxonomy, measurement of seawater parameters and comparison with fresh water. This will be considered as investigatory and research type of project. Then to find out the pattern of coastal hazards in last 10 years, this will be provided if any meteorological department is there in your nearby city or area. That will be considered as data organizing project. Students need to collect the information and organize the data in form of project. Next will be the assessment of plastic pollution affecting oceanic environment. This will be known as argumentation. Argumentation means design making or problem solving type of project I can also assign from this single topic. Then shipping activities and oceanic pollution, as I belong to Navy and we are living in coastal areas. So yes, what type of shipping activities, how many shipping activities and how do they affect oceanic environment in terms of sea snuts, in terms of plastic pollution, in terms of affecting lifestyle and reproduction cycles of oceanic animals. This will be considered as real world for Navy personnel, especially real world and survey based project. Then as per community development and vocational skills is also included by CBSE. So I will assign my students to participate in a beach cleanship program and sharing their experience in form of podcast or documentary, as I'm including ICT also here in my lesson plan. On next slide also, I have given few ideas of projects. Marine ecosystem restoration, this will be considered as problem solving or decision making type of projects. And last one is the desalination of oceanic water, which will be considered as design projects. So teachers, as we all know that there are different type of projects, different type of research-based projects nowadays, and depending upon where we are living, what type of problems are there in our area, what is the level of my students, how much time they are having, what are the readily available resources available in my area. I would like to assign these different type of projects to my students in the groups of 2 or 3. For example, and they will be presenting the project report in this proper format. I'm not going to share all details of all these projects here, as time constraint is also there. I would ask my students to present their project report in this proper appropriate format. First heading will be hypothesis. Then from where, hypothesis is abstract idea about that what they are going to perform. Then based upon hypothesis, they are going to mention their objectives, then review whatever work is already done. For example, this desalination project, I have given one link here just to provide the review of literature to my students. To review, they will gather from library, from refreshers, from encyclopedias. Then depending upon review of literature, what requirements they will need, requirements they need to mention. Then after requirements, daily work plan, monthly week plan and weekly week plan, either in tabular form or in graphical manner. They need to represent. Then after that, work has started. Then observations or data in form of tables. Then interpretation of data. Yes, interpretation or statistical analysis. As I'm from biological science, but let me tell you that this statistical analysis of is very significant part of all kind of research. Whether research belongs to chemical sciences, research is belonging to physical sciences, whether your data are significant or not significant. And I know I am presenting this lesson plan for class 10th, and 10th class students are not so much aware about this chi-square kind of test. But yes, what is the derivation, what is the deviation, what is standard deviation in your data? I would like to apply all these things just like in pilot form to my students. Then at last, results and discussion. Students are going to discuss their results with the already available reviews, and they are going to present results. And in the last of the project report, what future research can be done related to that topic. They need to mention that also. So in this way, I have included all these innovative ideas in my lesson plans. Now, after providing these assignments or these projects or research-based activities, subject enrichment. Here also in subject enrichment, I have included art integrated learning. And as we all know that art integrated learning means there are 3 types of arts. In case of performing art based, I have asked my students visit to nearby beach and observe the facts about the oceans. That will be known as performing art based. Or I can ask them to role play. Like you can become light parameter, you can become temperature parameter. One student can play as rainfall, one student can play as tree, one student can play as herbivore or carnivore. Role play can be done. And yes, of course, professor's class can also be considered as subject enrichment activity. Second type of arts which can be included is literary art based. I will ask my students to write the slogan, and teachers, we can see that these are not the time taking type of activities. The slogan writing activities, word limit is 8. I will ask them to write about the ocean, about the ecosystems, about the environment, only in 8 words. And even I can ask them to perform in form of rap if they are not comfortable in writing. In break time, if I'm assigning this thing to my students, then I will ask them to perform a rap, including only 2 lines only. So by this way, I'm going to include this literary art-based learning in my students, among my students. And then ICT or visual arts based facts about aquatic ecosystems. I have shared this, I will share this video link using flip teaching learning type of methodology. And next day, I'm going to discuss the questions which discuss the concept which is shown in this YouTube link. So all types of art integrated learning, I have included my lesson plan. Next, learning outcomes. Teachers get, most of the time they get confused that they both are same, learning objectives and learning outcomes. While learning outcomes, learning objectives, what teacher is expecting while opening the topic, in the starting of topic, what things are coming to teacher's mind, they are considered as objectives. While learning outcomes, the integral part of competency-based education, these are the statements by which teacher can assess. Teacher can assess after completion of this topic, then how much learners have learned. Or you can say in simple words, objectives are before the starting of topic, and learning outcomes tell us that how much a student is able to accomplish after you have completed the topic. And as I have mentioned here, learning outcomes, there are 3 domains. Each student, each person is provided with these 3 type of domains, and teacher's responsibility is to initiate, is to activate all these 3 domains. So learning outcomes, which I am assuming here, learners are expected to be aware about ecosystems, trophic structure after completion of this topic, cognitive domain. And that will be going to develop their cognitive domain. In case of affective domain, they will become more aware, more concerned about environmental problems, and they will think about to sort out these problems. That will be considered as affective domain. And third learning domain, which is psychomotor domain. Psychomotor domain outcome will be, they will try to initiate, they will be actively involved in restoration of ecosystems present in their neighborhood. or in their localities. So these are 3 learning outcomes of my lesson plan, including all these 3 domains. Further extension as interdisciplinary approach, I'm going to tell you, if I'm teaching my students our environment topic in higher classes, at higher studies, that topic, if I'm imparting any concept to my class, then it's my duty that whatever they have learned in their previous class and whatever they are going to touch, whatever they are going to study in next class at higher level, so that thing has to be there in my mind while designing of any lesson plan. So this our environment topic can be imparted, can be included at higher level in different branches of sciences as well as social sciences, like, for example, ecology, environmental sciences, marine biology, oceanography, hydrography, climatology, and earth sciences. So from here only student can have an idea whether they are interested, they are inclined into that topic. Our purpose is to develop the interest of our learners in our topics, in our subjects. Not only that we are completing our topic and they are rote learning and getting good marks in their pen paper test or in their examinations. So here I mentioned further extension of my topic included in this lesson plan. At the last, I would like to conclude that according to me, a good plan is like a roadmap which shows the way, which shows our final destination and usually the best way to reach over there. With these words, I would like to conclude my lesson plan. Thank you so much for listening and to be present here. Now my lesson plan is open for discussion in this session. If any doubts, if any queries are there, now we can discuss.
Thank you so much, Pratibha ma'am. I would invite Ms. Rashmi Tyagi to please provide her feedback on this plan. And after that, I would also invite Prerna Chauhan ma'am. I would request you all to be slightly brief about it because we've had a lot of, we still have 2 contestants to go. Thank you so much. Rashmi ma'am.
Congratulations, the teachers, that they have imbibed whatever is they have learned for the 21st century during 3-4 years. And the topic chosen is really up to the dates it should be there. Like it is about the climate change and then life below ocean and the life on the land. This is the biggest challenge for the humanity today, that we should make aware of the, these threats which are coming there. And the temperature of the atmosphere is rising. And if nothing is done about it, then around 2080, the world will get perished from the earth. So that way it is very good. And I will just give my suggestions that you can make it in a thematic way. 1 week, every class is going to do something about these topics which you said, about life under ocean, life on the land, and then about how to arrest the climate change. So first standard, another topic, second standard, another topic, as per their, ability. And then I will say that we can have poster exhibition from all the students, whether they are in first standard or they are in 12th standard. And then Vriksha Dwandi. Vriksha Dwandi, it is done in Maharashtra, where we make a small, basket, and in that we take the plants, and then these plants are planted at different locations, and it goes along with many students and teachers. So that way the people come to know about this activity, and the ocean project should be given to the students, whether 3rd standard or 4th standard. They can make a project by, submitting the pictures of the life in ocean at different depths. And then higher classes can do aquaponics. That is, it is like an aquarium only. So they can do that because the time is less. So I cannot, describe about the aquaponics, and then, poster exhibitions, street plays, and, you have to tell them that how the snow on the Himalaya is melting. So that kind of role plays they can do. So the role plays are very important. And I will advise that you should do assessment on this work of the students instead of giving them any summative assessment, and you take the evidences. So that means all, first to 12th, all the classes, they have done this topic and they have contributed in their own way. And I like the constructive method of teaching learning, where the students will construct that how they are going to, design this lesson with the help of the teacher. And the one thing which you have left is the policies. The policies which the climate change people, they have made on that how we can save our environment, how much the, these companies, they are releasing the chemicals into the water, and how much gases are released in the air from the industries. And then, which is most important, that we have to save animals. We have to save the fishes under the ocean. That means we can't, throw plastics and all that. I had been to Indian and Goan, beaches and Sri Lankan beaches. Everywhere I could see the bottles lying on the beaches. And I was really very sad to see that. And I'm a climate action activist also. So you have done a wonderful thing. Nature smart you have done. And I think as the time is less, I will not, say more about it. But I like the formative method of quiz. The quiz is very good. That instead of giving them 3 hours paper and all that. So it is a wonderful and the timely topic. Congratulations. Wonderful. Thank you very much.
Prerna ma'am, if you could please come in.
Yeah, I am very much here, Shweta ma'am. Good evening to everyone present over here. I would like to start with the quote, "The best teachers are those who show where to look, but don't tell you what to see." So this is the purpose of our teaching learning process. Pratibha ma'am, I would like to say this lesson plan is exemplary, very systematic. Nothing is missing. In each step of lesson plan is well prepared. Gradually, through your lesson plan, we can see that you are taking your students from lower learning level to the higher level learning, and they are able to create or synthesize. That is the purpose of learning. In your research project stage of your lesson plan, you have keep in mind all types of learner. That is an excellent thing. And in your lesson plan, you have also included the 7 C's competency for the 21st century. One most important competency which you have keep in mind while preparing your lesson, that is the citizenship and the character building. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Prerna ma'am, Rashmi ma'am. And without losing much time, I would quickly invite Ms. Vijeta Grover from Delhi. And we are going to talk about maths now. Vijeta ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Good evening, everyone. Myself, Vijeta Grover from Ganga International School, Savda, New Delhi. First of all, I would like to thank DKIF and International Association of Quality Education for giving us the chance to present our lesson plan on such a platform. I would also like to thank the jury members and all the attendees who are taking out their precious time to just patiently listen our lesson plan. So I'm going to start. I'll be sharing my screen and I'm starting with my lesson plan. Okay. Ma'am, is my screen visible?
It is visible, ma'am.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Myself, Vijeta Grover from Ganga International School, Savda. And I'm going to present my lesson plan on the topic Basic Geometrical Ideas, Class 6 Mathematics. Now, see, students have learned about geometry in previous many classes, smaller classes. They are going to learn about shapes and everything earlier. But what new things they are going to learn in this class, that we are going to study here. First of all, I'm going to tell you the skill set that has been that should be there in this lesson plan. That is first is
Vijeta,
communication.
ma'am.
Yes,
Vijeta,
ma'am.
ma'am, sorry to disturb. Could you
Yes,
please
ma'am.
put this in a full screen mode, a landscape mode, because this is coming vertical in the portrait mode?
Now
Yes,
is it okay?
better. Thank you so much.
Okay, okay, ma'am. First is communication, creativity, collaboration. In this, students are going to communicate with each other. They are going to create the shapes, create different pictures, collaborate. They will together do various work in this chapter, in which they are going to learn on their own. This lesson plan is basically student-centric, means they are going to construct something and they are going to learn from their own constructions. Okay, now the SDG goals covered in my lesson plan are industry innovation and infrastructure and quality education. Then the pedagogies used. Now pedagogies used are experiential learning, where students are going to learn from their own experiments, what they are going to do, what they are going to draw, heuristic approach, inquiry based, observation, what they are going to observe, and demonstration, which what they are going to demonstrate in front, and they are going to learn from all that pedagogies. Okay, now what starting the lesson plan, what all is there in my lesson plan? What the students will get from my lesson plan? They are going to learn about points, lines. These are the various topics which I'm going to cover in my lesson plan. Points, lines, line segments, rays, intersecting lines, parallel lines, curves, polygons, angles, and quadrilaterals. Now come learning outcomes. What are they going to learn after completing my lesson plan? They will understand the basic concept of geometry, that what is geometry all about. They will be able to identify line segment, rays. They are going to differentiate between them. What are intersecting lines, parallel lines, and different type of curves like open curve, closed curve, and what is polygon. They have all learned about different shapes, but they don't know what is polygon and what is the interior and exterior region. They are going to understand about the angles, and they are going to analyze different angles, understand about the quadrilaterals and all about its sides and angles in the quadrilateral, and they are going to identify them at last. Okay, now how will I start my lesson plan? Basically, this is the lesson plan that I am going to follow in my class. How will I start? When I'll go to my class, I'll first of all ask the students to take a pencil and a paper. And I'll just tell them to put the tip of the pencil on the paper. And after that, within a second or two, I'll tell them to remove it. And I'll ask it, what have you got? Students will say it's a point. I'll tell them to measure it, but they can't measure it. So this will be their first learning, that a point has no dimensions. Means it has no length, it has no breadth, we cannot measure it. So first we'll start with the point. Then I'll ask them to make one more point and just join these 2 points. Now what they will get? They will say, ma'am, this is a line, because in earlier classes they are learning that draw a line, and teachers are also saying this only, means they don't know the difference between line segment and line, basically, which they are going to learn in this class. So I'll say, no, this is not a line. You have got a line segment which you have drawn, and you can draw only line segment in the notebook. And now I'll ask them to give some examples from their nearby things which they can identify. So they can give examples, many examples from, they can give the edges of the table, pencil, legs of the human, means these are all lines which they can measure. Now what I'll say, I'll tell them to just increase this line from one side. Just one side, let it be like that, and just increase it and take it forever wherever you can. They are going to increase it, and at a point they're going to end where the notebook will end. They will not be able to continue. And they'll say, what, ma'am, now what to do? Now it's ended here. But that is not ended here. Now I'll say, now this is a ray where you know that one end point is there, and you don't know till where it is going from the other side. So to represent it on a notebook, you have to put an arrow on one side. To represent a ray, you know from where it is coming, you know the starting point, because it's the line segment from one part you have increased, but the other side you don't know where it is going. So you don't know its end point from once. You cannot draw it in the notebook. You can just represent it by drawing an arrow on one side. And now give me the examples of the rays. So one example I can give them, that sunlight, you know that sunlight is coming from where, but till where it is going, we don't know. We don't know the end point of that sunlight. So students will give many more examples. They'll give the example of a bulb. They can give the example of light coming from there, means, or sound also. So many examples they can give from their nearby. Now, then I will say, now what if you will increase it from other side as well? Now, one side you have increase it from other side as well, and take it till the end. Now, again, they'll take it from the other side and go till the end of the notebook. Now, from both sides, the line has gone now, but it will stop at a point. Yes, then what they will do, they will say, ma'am, what to do now? Now, this is a line which has no end point. We don't know from where it is coming. We don't know from where it is going. From both sides, it's extending and going till infinity, forever, where you cannot measure it. You cannot draw it in a notebook, but still, we show it in a notebook by representing it through the arrow on both the sides. Now, in a line, you can see that it has an arrow on both sides. And for example, you can see a road. If you're standing on a road in the center, what is there? From both the sides, road is going, we don't know where it is going. It's going straight from both the sides. We don't know its endpoints. You can see the tracks. We don't know where it is going. They are just going from both the sides. So this is the example of the line. Now there is the difference between line segment, and ray. From these three things, from these three drawings that they have done, or whatever they have made, they will learn that what is the difference between all of them, means line segment, as well as ray. Now, if they will cross true lines? I'll tell them to draw true lines crossing each other. They will cross, and that they will get a intersecting line, where two lines will cross at a point. And when I'll ask them when two lines will never meet, can you tell me the example where two lines will never meet? Then there is an example that if they'll have equal distance throughout, if we are making, they are never meeting each other. So that is example can be railway tracks. They are going on and on, but there is no meeting point, means they are never meeting. Cricket stumps, they are in the parallel form, they are standing. So this is the example that I am going to give. And now even they are going to find out more and more examples from their nearby of intersecting and parallel lines, like hands of a clock, letter X, in which they can give the examples of the intersecting line. After that, to introduce curves, I'll show them a video. They'll see the video, and I'll also tell them, now after watching the video, just try to make any curve, anything with your pencil. Just rotate your pencil, move your pencil on the notebook, and draw anything, but don't join them. So they'll get a simple open curve when they are not joined. Now, if I tell them that, okay, now from the starting point, just make anything, but at last you have to come to the starting point. Now, when they'll come to the starting point, that will be the closed curve. So this will be the difference between simple open curves and simple closed curves. Then comes polygons. Now, this is the concept. They have studied about shapes in their lower classes. They have studied about triangle, square, rectangle. But what are all these? They just know that these are simple shapes. Now, simple closed curves that are made up of line segments these are all polygons. They should know. Now they will come to know that if they are joining any closed curve, I'll tell them to draw any curve with straight lines. If they will draw with straight lines, they will get a polygon. And then I'll tell them, yes, this is a polygon that you are drawing it with a straight line. And one more question that I will ask them is, what is circle then? Circle is also one of the shape that you have studied earlier. Triangle is there, rectangle is there, square is there. These are all polygons. But is circle a polygon? Some students will say yes, some will say no. But circle is not a polygon because it is not made up of line segments. So this will clarify the concept a bit more that a polygon is simple closed curve, but it is made up of line segments. Then they have made different shapes, triangles, squares, rectangles. They have studied about squares and rectangles. Now I will say a four-sided polygon, you are saying it is a square. It is a rectangle. Students will draw the squares, they will draw the rectangles, but that is a four-sided polygon. Then what is, if I'll show this shape to them, I'll draw a shape, then what is it? This is also a four-sided polygon. But this is not a square, this is not a rectangle. What is it? So then I'll introduce that a four-sided polygon is called a quadrilateral, which is made up of four straight lines. So square, rectangle, parallelogram, these are all the parts of the quadrilateral only. So they'll come to know, yes, a four-sided polygon and these is a quadrilateral, and square, rectangle, these are all the examples of the quadrilateral. After teaching this concept, we'll come to the angles. Now, if they are going to, in this, I'll just ask them to perform a simple activity. I'll ask them to join their arms from one side. When they'll join their two arms, so from one side and one side it will be open, they'll get an angle. So I'll tell them now, this is the part in the interior. This is the interior of the angle. Now see this video for showing the types of angles which you have studied, which they have studied it in 5th class as well. But after seeing this video, they'll just recall the types of angles that they have already done in the class. So I'll show them the video and then I'll give them an activity that what you do, just write down your name on the notebook with this alphabets made with straight lines and just mark the angles in it. How many angles do you get? And then I'll explain them the type of angles, that what are the kinds of angles from right angle to acute, obtuse, reflex, complete, straight, and then they will be able to differentiate between the angles. And after that, I can also give them an activity of, now I'll give them the activity of art integration, in which I'll make them draw different polygons showing expressions. Means they'll be drawing different polygons of different sides, means having 3 sides, 4 sides, 5 sides, 6 sides. Now see, they have drawn different polygons having different sides and just given them some or the other expressions, which will make interesting for them, this activity interesting for them, and they'll just enjoy doing it. And they will make different angles. I can also ask them to now, with your arms, show me different angles, acute, obtuse, and tell me what is all about it. They will just explain about the angles by joining their arms and just telling me about the angles. Now, assessment. How will I do the assessment? I can take them to the field I can take them outside and allow them to just together just find out few things which you can relate with all these different types of polygons, and what are lines in this, what are angles, different angles in this, and then go at your home and in your newspapers, do some cuttings and just paste the different types of polygons that you see and the angles you can find in different pictures. They can also make different shapes. They can also join the polygons to form any shape they can form by joining different polygons, but they have just to use the polygons. So they will just find out that which shape they have to draw, or which favorite cartoon character they can draw using only these shapes. I can also give them worksheets which I have prepared to differentiate between different things that I have taught them in the class. Thank you, ma'am. Thanks a lot. Ma'am, am I audible, ma'am?
Absolutely. Audible, visible, all good, ma'am. And thank you so much for your lesson plan. I would request our master trainers, eminent jury, to please come in. And
this time I want Madam. Okay, not me first. I would like to listen to her first. Okay, and then I will.
Request Prerna ma'am to please come in.
You are invited.
Yeah, thank you so much, Rashmi ma'am. Miss Vijeta, your lesson plan was very interesting. And few things I would like to add over here. If you add the research project in this lesson plan, then it will be very impactful, because maths always has a phobia for the, I think 90% of the student have the phobia with the mathematics.
Yes,
so we have to make sure that how we have to remove that phobia, and we can bring the learning process very joyful and very impactful. So you have done the art integration to make the learning joyful, but add one step, that is the research project, and where you have to be include, keep in mind that we have to prepare the project based thing for all the learner of the class. It was wonderful lesson plan. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thanks a lot, ma'am.
Is it my turn, Shweta ji?
Absolutely, ma'am, all yours.
I am really scared of this subject, maths. But now, you know, in the 21st century, I am very happy because we can integrate it. So I will suggest that for the parallel lines, and everyone knows, if you give the example of the rails on which the train, you know, it just runs. So that I thought I can give that example, and let's integrate it with the art. So in the geometrical shapes, you know, they are, as Madam has explained, she's a maths teacher. I just honor all my maths teacher. And so I will say a beautiful artwork is made by combining these different shapes like polygons, the triangles and all that, and all the abstract paintings and the today's painting, they are being made that way in JJ Schools of Arts and in other, and they are beautiful. So you can integrate it and talk to the art teacher about it, and you'll get wonderful results. And then you can have an exhibition of that. And then, you know, you can integrate it with the biology, because the God is the creator, and the creativity of the nature is beyond the bounds. And the leaves, you know, leaves of the plants, they can be triangular, they can be polygon, not maybe exact. They can be round, circles. So that way you can integrate it with this, and they can draw it. And that way, you know, integration between making the, you know, diagrams in biology with the help of the maths teachers teaching, and then with the physics. And 2-3 days back, we were studying about the light And in the light, we have got reflection, refraction, and diffraction. So at the different angles. So when the physics teacher is teaching, then the maths teacher can help. That just see what on which angle it is going. Like in reflection, it is going to be similar angles on both sides or whatever. And then I think that way you can make it more integrated. Thank you so much for such a
Thank you,
beautiful
ma'am.
explanation. Thank you.
Thanks, ma'am.
Thank you, our eminent jury, for enriching the lesson plan. And it's time for our third contestant to come in. And I would invite Ms. Batul Raza. And we're talking about science again. She's from Gauss International, Ghaziabad. Request Ms. Batul Raza to please come in with her plan.
Very warm good evening to everyone. Yes, there is some issue. I'm unable to switch on my video if...
It's all right, ma'am. You can share your screen.
Okay. A very warm welcome to everyone. And a very warm good evening to all the respected jury members, Sudhakar sir, and all the eminent members of Kalam Foundation, Dr. Kalam Foundation. And without further delay, I am going to share my screen and start my lesson plan. Yes. Okay. So let me start my lesson plan. Yes, my lesson plan is about nutrition in plant. This is chapter number 1 from NCERT book. So here, because of time constraint and this 10 to 15 minutes, I'm going to touch upon the teaching strategies and the different techniques that I have used in my lesson plan. Yes, first, I'm going to just discuss what all I expect or I keep in mind while designing my lesson plan. First and foremost thing is that it should help me to be organized. Yes, it should give a structured outline of what will be taught during a particular class, and this will help me to stay organized, and it should provide a clarity. It should be well written. It should have clear outlines of what learning objectives I have to touch upon. Okay, and it should be aligned with the activities that I have planned. So it should be like parallel activities, and my objectives should run parallel. Of course, when we talk about a class, we don't have all the students of the same type. So my lesson plan should be, should cater the need of all the type of students in my class. Yes. It should provide me a brief or a better way of assessment, how I'm going to assess my lesson plan. And of course, should provide me how effective at the end. It should provide me how effective it has been when I have done with my class. So I should be able to reflect upon what improvement, because lesson plans are kind of windows through which we can find the gaps in the learning of the children. So yes, the first thing that I start when I enter the class, I always make it a point that I carry a mystery box. Nothing as such, it's just a carton of box in which the label is written mystery box. This is how I build my topic. And actually, the students are very curious that what ma'am is going to carry today. This adds an element of mystery to my lesson plan. And especially children, they are very much excited and curious. Once I have gathered all the curiosity, then I think I am more effective in delivering what I am supposed to. So yes, it just help the children to it prompts the student to think critically what might be inside. They just speculate what can be inside the mystery box. Then it is engaging for the children. Children are engaged all the time. They keep asking me questions. I can just relate the content inside the mystery box with the with my content that I am about to deliver. So the content relevance have to be there. Suppose my lesson plan was about the nutrition in plants, so I was carrying a potted plant in which when I just revealed to the students what was inside the box, the children were very much excited. Ma'am, what are we going to study today? Why green plant? Why there was another plant that was having purple leaves? Why we are having two types of plants? So this is a kind of interactive learning that I was trying to put in my class. And obviously it was an inquiry based learning, because students were asking me about they were participating in the activity, and it was kind of hand-on experience for the children. So I always make it a point in all my classes, and actually student wait for my substitution. Maybe in the substitutions also ma'am is going to carry those mystery box. It is very easy and simple thing. We can carry anything and just can relate by putting this element of surprise in the lesson plan. Then another thing is that I always make it a point in this chapter also that I always carry the things from specific examples to the general rules. Like in nutrition of plant, I have started by putting the example. Okay, the plants are green in color. Okay, do you think that plants there is someone who is going to prepare the food for the plants? So children used to tell me, no ma'am, the plants prepare their food by themselves. So here I am clear that the plants I have put forward this, that the plants are autotroph. Now I am confident enough, I am done enough that I can introduce this topic of autotrophs to the students, that yes, the plants prepare their own foods, they are known as autotrophs. Then I put forward with the next question. Okay, we who prepares the food for us? Maybe the children comes up, okay, mommy prepares the food, papa prepares the food. So this is how I take my lectures from specific examples to the general rules. I put forward the examples first and then the general rules. This is the inductive method of teaching. Then yes, I would like to mention one more thing here. In this presentation, all the pictures that are present in my presentation, pictures of the students are from my school, from all the activities that I have been doing in my school. So this comic strip is taken from somewhere else, but this picture of the students doing a play in the school corridor, this is the picture. This is an activity that we have conducted during the school. We have integrated our lessons with the performing art, like street play, maybe in the corridor of the school, where the students can go from one class to another class, and maybe they can ask some questions like, okay, like in this nutrition of plant, there is one topic of symbiosis where the rhizobium lives in the root nodules of the leguminous plants, and they both live together by cooperating with each other, and this is known as symbiosis. So the students move from one class to another, maybe in pair, and they just put up certain riddles to the students. I am the root nodule of a leguminous plant. This is bacteria rhizobium. Can you guess who are we? So this is the kind of activity that I have integrated with my chapter, with my topic, along with this performing art. So this is the kind of holistic understanding. Yes, we are integrating the things and developing a range of transferable skills such as communication, collaboration, adaptability. We're talking about all these skills. Then obviously there is a real world relevance. We are integrating the learning often mirrors the complexity of real world challenges. We are providing them the real world challenges. Okay, there is no rain today, the nodules are dried, the rhizobium. So the children comes up with the solution. We integrate, we relate the things together. There is a lot of critical thinking and problem solving during this process of integrated approach. Children think about the problems, children find their solutions, they analyze the situation. Of course, this is an interactive learning. The students child-centric, the children are participating in the activity. inquiry based, children are asking question, ma'am, what to do, what will happen in this situation, what happens if the what happens to the bacteria if the root nodules are dried during the summers, how do we take care? So these are the questions that the children come up with, and the teacher, I am there as a facilitator to cater their questions and answer them. Yes, one more thing that I have kept in my lesson plan is concept map. I always make it a point that I introduce concept map to class 7 children. Yes, it is important, and it gives a very big, children are very happy with the concept map. They always come up, ma'am, don't make us do anything, just make us write the concept map, let's make a concept map. It's not that I make a concept map and make them write. We create a concept map together. Sometimes a homework is given. Yes, try to make a concept map of the chapter we have done. So it represents a visualization of a knowledge. The different concepts are interlinked. I can just make out what are the key concepts, how they are interlinked with each other. It provides an organization of the knowledge. Everything is to the point, is precise. Children are able to understand. Of course, it facilitates the learning. Yes, we are the children, when we introduce the children with the concept map, or the children come up with the concept map, they create a concept map, they retain their knowledge for a longer period of time. So this is how yes. Next is catering the different types of learner. Yes, there are different type of children in the class. The class is like a vase of different types of flowers. Some of them are happy in listening. Some of them are happy in seeing. Some of them wants to move around and learn, and then only they understand the thing and learn the concept. Yes. So for the visual learners, I have certain videos that I have displayed in my lesson plan. For the auditory learners, yes, we have planned certain songs were given so that the students can learn by listening. For that tactile learner, the students who want hands-on activities, yes, the concepts like mystery box, the concepts like lab experiments were done so that the students can touch the thing and get involved. They can do some hand-on activities. Yes, this is just a representation of what different types of audio-visual material that I have used. Okay. Connecting my lesson to the sustainability goals. Yes, this is very important for a science teacher to integrate your lessons to the sustainability goals. So here I have touched upon the zero hunger. Obviously, we are talking about the plants, nutrition in plants. When we talk about rhizobium, enriching the soil fertility, yes, we increase the productivity of the crop, and we touch upon the sustainability goal of zero hunger, good health and well-being. Here we talk about how can we increase the fertility of the soil. Rhizobium is one such way in which we are not using synthetic fertilizers rich in nitrogen. Students come up with this, ma'am, why to use nitrogenous fertilizers then? If we have rhizobium, can't we use rhizobium for different types of plants? Why only leguminous plants? So they come upon with these types of things that we touch upon good health and well-being by producing fertile soil, give rise to good amount of crops and life on land. Yes, on different types of land life, that is different plants of different types of plants were touched upon. Yes, there was one more thing. This is a picture of a picathon that was conducted in my school. Yes, nurture the nature, where we have touched upon this sustainability goal of responsible consumption and production. We encourage the people. This picathon was conducted in the nearby societies where the children were taken and they picked up the plastic bottles in a trash bag, and we made certain eco bricks from those plastic bottles, and we created beautiful structures out of those these eco bricks. And students were told how these plastics bags, these plastic bottles are hampering the growth of the plant, and how they are how they are in hampering their natural way of survival and their habitat. So yes, this is how we have So this is an interdisciplinary understanding where the students touch upon different subjects. Ethical consideration, yes, the students get to know about different ethics. What they are more responsible, they are more empowered and engaged. They feel responsible. For our environment, and they are more engaged. They talked with the people there, they had an interaction with the responsible people of the society, and they briefed the people about we should not use those plastic, these plastic are hampering the growth of the plant. So this is all were explained by the students. Then global awareness, of course. Citizenship and leadership, yes, when we integrate the children, when we integrate our lessons with SDG goals, we are inculcating this skill of citizenship and leadership skills. We are integrating these skills in the children. They consider this seed of leadership is sown there when they interact with the people around them, with the people of the society, and telling them this, yes ma'am, we should not throw these plastic, can we have some alternate of this plastic? So this here we sow the seed of leadership and citizenship. Okay, next is, yes, experimental lab experiments was conducted. This is a real-time picture of my students. We conducted certain lab activities. A leaf was taken. We were explaining this process of photosynthesis, and a leaf was taken, and we put some iodine solution, and the blue-black color comes, and the students showed that the starch contained, this leaf contained the starch. So there are students who don't understand, they have to be there in the lab. So we conducted this experiment on starch. This, yes, this made this concept of photosynthesis more clear, and the children were convinced, yes, the plants do have starch. Otherwise we keep telling them, the students, plant leaves have starch, they are not ready to accept. But yes, when they go to lab, they put certain drops of iodine solution and the leaves turns blue black. Yes, they are convinced and they want to know, then they starts believing, yes. So the application of knowledge, whatever is being taught in the class, they are applying this to the real life situations. They are applying it in the lab. Experiment, they design their experiments also. They come up with the ideas, ma'am, why can't we do this experiment like this? Why can't we do this experiment like this? Like in a previous chapter, they have learned about testing the protein in a food particles in the food sample. So they wanted to test to do that test on the leaf also. Ma'am, can we do this test on the leaf? Let us test whether the plant leaf is having protein also or not. So they design their experiments. Curiosity is an inquiry, of course. When we are taking the students to the lab, we are inculcating this skill of curiosity and inquiry in them. Problem solving skills, yes, they do find the question or the problem, and they do find the solution also. Project-based learning is another example. This is also a real-time picture of a science exhibition we had in our school. So project-based learning, here the students were asked to prepare a project of photosynthesis and a 3D model of a photosynthesis, where the students were actively learning. We made them sit together. We made the group of 2 so that they can collaborate with each other. They should have they should have the acceptance of the different types of perspective. These days we have seen that students just no, they just give their answer and they just believe somehow that I have given this answer, there can not be any other solution to that question, or my solution is the correct one. So we make them sit together, we make them work in group, so that in collaboration they understand, they are able to accept the perspective, different types of perspectives. So there should be some relevance, yes, to the chapter. This is a self-directed type of learning. The students are directed and motivated. See, if there is no motivation, there is no learning. Motivation is the first and the foremost step of learning. So they have to be motivated and self-directed. Then again, research. Yes, research is another thing. Students were asked to find how the human activities are affecting the symbiotic relationships in leguminous plants and rhizobiums. And what can be done to improve the situation. So they came up, this is still there since we have just started the session. So they are still under the process of writing their papers. The guidance was provided to them regarding how to just write the paper. So this is a kind where the development of information and literacy is incorporated. The students are motivated. They find their own way of finding the solutions. And this research based learning encourages the students to engage critically with the information and develop analytical skill. So by conducting research, students learn to evaluate the credibility of the source, analyze the data, draw evidence-based conclusion. So this fosters critical thinking abilities somewhere. This is a personalized type of learning. Yes, the students are working, they choose their topic and working in person. Obviously, I'm not going to repeat this critical thinking again. Yes, another way of assessing the students, these are again the real-time pictures. How to assess? I always assess my students on the basis of quiz. We just go to the assembly area. We just take a podium, one mic, music system, and this assembly area. We just gather together. Some questions are being asked from my side. Some questions are, the students are asked to prepare certain questions from the quiz, and they are very smart. They want to prepare the toughest questions, and they make sure they prepare the toughest question from the hooks and corners, and they prepare these questions, come up with the questions and answers. So again, this is something that my students always wait. They are motivated for this. Yes, this is the assessment of understanding. I am able to see through how much understanding have been gained by the students. This when they prepare the questions, there is a longer retention of the knowledge here. This is a formative type of assessment, of course. And there is another thing that I want to, yes. Yes. There's another thing that exit ticket. So what is this exit ticket? This is a kind of pamphlet that I have designed. And before leaving the class, I just put these papers. I just put these papers on the children's desk. So they have to write, they're supposed to write the three things. The things that I have learned today. Whatever they have learned, they just write it in the points. The things I found interesting, they just jot down the things that they found interesting. So I just get a little sneak peek of how much interesting, what type of strategy have been, the doubts I still have. This is very important, and this provides me the window where I need to work upon, where my students are lagging behind. So yes, I want to tell one more thing. When I started giving this exit ticket, this was a real burden on the school, and I was using a lot of paper. So what I did now is I have pasted 3 sheets on the soft board. Things I have learned today, things I found interesting, and doubt I still have. These 3 sheets I have put on my soft board, and now we use sticky notes. The children, they are provide this. As soon I start the session and they think that we are getting towards the end of the lesson, they start writing on their sticky notes. We have certain colors assigned. Like green is for things I learned today. Pink one is for things I found interesting, and the yellow one is for the doubt I still have. I have no kept the yellow one because this yellow one is more no highlighted one. So I have kept yellow for the doubt I still have. So they write their doubts and they paste it on the sheet on the soft board, and we are done. Then I go through those sticky notes and I get the sneak peek of what I need to do tomorrow, how I am going to twist my lesson plan, how I am going to make what changes do I need to make in my, this is a kind of reflection for me, how effective my lesson plan has been. So this gives me an immediate feedback. Yes, this is the assessment. This is my assessment, how effective my lesson plan has been. This is students' reflection. Students get to know what all there has been. Students for instructional planning, data for instructional planning, what I need to plan for the next session. This is what I get from this. This is a point where I drive through for the continuous improvement. So this was it. I would really like to put my huge sincere thanks to Dr. Kalam Foundation, to Sudhakar sir, and all the respected jury members. Thank you so much. And of course, a huge thanks to all the fellow teachers for listening to me with patience. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. It was a pleasure listening to you. I would request our jury members to please step in and give their feedback before we wind up the session. Dr. Rashmi Tyagi, followed by Ms. Prerna Chauhan, please.
Thank you very much, Shweta, for giving me this opportunity. And at the same time, I will appreciate DKIF and collaborating partner from Sri Lanka, Kamal Goda sir's team, because you have really explored such wonderful teachers and such wonderful lesson plans and the topics. I'm really impressed a lot, and I'm learning a lot from this. And today's topic, as you know, is about the food, and that plants and all that. But some movies are started from the back, like Sahab Bibi or Gulam. From the end scene, they start. So I will start this also from the last scene. That was the feedback form kind of a thing. And I consider it as the worksheet for the students. If the students can write all these three things, that what they didn't understand, what they appreciated and all that, this is a very good feedback. So that was good. And then I will say that the parents should be invited. When we talk of food, then we have to educate the parents also that what kind of food should be given to the students in the school and outside. So we can ask them to make some recipe. We can organize a food mela in the school, and we can make a fancy dress show where the students can become maybe an apple, maybe a leguminous plant, or something like that. So they will come in that kind of a makeup, and then they will talk about what are the properties of that particular fruit. And the research is also appreciated here very much. And they are doing about symbiosis. When they talk of symbiosis, then my very favorite topic, aquaponics, come, where the plants and the fishes, they thrive together. And that kind of arrangement they can have in their school. So I think it was a wonderful lesson plan. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. I'll keep this in mind and I'll make best out of this, your suggestions. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Request Prerna ma'am to please come with her feedback now.
Rashmi ma'am, you have given a wonderful, valuable inputs in this lesson plan. Ms. Batul Raza.
Yours is very, to the point. And I love the way you give the feedback of the important points.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Ms. Batul Raza, I would like to say your lesson plan started with the mystery box concept. That is very interesting, because when there is a curiosity, the learning will be happening. The learning start happening when we have a curiosity. So we must bring curiosity in the class, that you have started with the mystery box. And lesson plan is like a roadmap, like a Google map. And learning outcome is like destination. We have to put first destination where we have to go. And lesson plan, we have to keep rerouting while seeing how the students are taking the things. If they are taking the things the way we have planned our lesson, then it's fine. If they are not, then we have to reroute our lesson plan. So you have started with inductive to deductive. That is very interesting. And the concept map is also very innovative thing in the lesson plan, which you have included. An exit ticket, that is the feedback from the students, where teacher has to reroute his lesson plan. That's what I would like to say. And art integration, we have seen in the comic presentation, how we can make very interesting. We never saw the comic presentation can be happen in the science, which we have seen in the rhizobium right now. How the symbiotic relationship between the plants and the other plants. Thank you so much. It was
Thank
wonderful
you so
lesson
much,
plan.
ma'am. Thank you so much.
What an awesome program with 3 great lesson plans and a lot of feedback from our eminent jury members. Thank you so much. And with this, we come to an end of today's session of Innovative Lesson Planning. I hope everybody who sees this has a lot of takeaways and is benefited. So thank you so much. I extend my warm gratitude to everybody who participated, including the participants, the jury members, and the audience. And I also reiterate that the International Conference for Quality Education is being held in New Delhi, 26th May to 31st May, and it would be great if all the South Asian educators attended and be a part of our initiative to share collaborative knowledge among all of us educators. Thank you so much. Have a good night.